Welcome back to Expandable, and today we're going to do something a little different. Hopefully, this will be entertaining and also educational. We're going to play a game called No Loan or No Loan, and it's where I'm going to present a scenario to Ryan, who obviously is CEO of Surety Bank, writes a lot of commercial loans, helps businesses expand in that capacity, so I'm going to give you a scenario, and then kind of just off the top of your head, tell me, would you loan this business or would you not? Right.
Okay.
And then we can go into why, positive, negative. All right. So I am I'm based in like maybe central to South Florida, 3 million in revenue. We have about 25 employees. We have about $500,000 in debt, which we use to get started. We're about a 3-year-old company. We have about $250K in reserves, and we don't currently own our building that we're in. The business that we're in is renting scaffolding, so equipment that other contractors use to get their work done.
Okay.
And so we have this product. It's metal scaffolding that we buy and we inventory and house it in our building, and then we rent it out based on the projects that they need. And the rental period is generally between 90 days, 180 days out from our facility. And currently we're renting our building. So we're looking at expanding. We're at about 20,000 square feet. We want to expand to about 50 and maybe more, depending on what the market is. We're looking at buildings right now. So
okay,
the deal. The reason we're expanding is because we just signed on a new major contractor that is going to almost double our business. So we need to be able to come behind them and fulfill that order. Any other?
What are you paying in current rent, and are you cash flow positive, and how much?
Current rent is market rate on square foot. So I don't know what that is right now, but let's just say from an actual financial number, we're paying about $10,000 a month.
Yeah. Okay. What do you have after rent and cash flow?
After rent and cash flow, looking at
got 3 million gross sales.
Yeah, probably
25 employees, 120,000 a year, and rent.
Probably $100K.
So net profit now after 3 years, $100,000. And you're the principal owner. Are you paying yourself a salary?
Yes.
How much is that salary?
$100K.
Okay, so we got $200K right there in cash flow.
Yeah. Loan or no loan?
The $500,000, is that how much you borrowed originally? Have you paid any of it down?
I like that you're asking questions. That's how much we paid. We borrowed $750 originally. Now we owe $500, so we paid down $250.
What are the terms of that $500,000?
Oh man, I'd have to ask my accountant. Yeah.
You don't know how much you're paying a month to that $500,000?
No, I don't.
Okay, so how much loan do you want? Are you looking for?
To buy a 50,000 square foot building, I'll probably be looking at about $2.5 million.
No loan.
Okay, all right. Explain to me why.
You've only got $250,000 cash. A 50,000 square foot building. Even at $100 a foot, you're looking at $5 million location. Mm-hmm. You just can't support that right now with your cash flow at all. Even on the future, you haven't built it enough up. So way too risky for a bank.
So what would make it, how would we change that scenario? So I'm the business owner, and I want to go back now and figure out how can I change this scenario? What's the timeline look like? Would
to me, it'd be how much can you get out of that existing 20,000 square foot? If you're already in that lease, how much can you get out of it? If you're just looking to buy inventory, then in that area, it'd be going to who you're purchasing the inventory to and striking deals with them and paying off that inventory as quickly as possible.
Right.
To buy it, but you're looking to double, and also it's risk. You've got one person that you're going to double. So everything in my life, that double, it's a swag. It's a silly, wild ass guess that one customer is going to double it up.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've maybe seen 1% of swags,
be
underestimated.
Right.
So, there's no room for error.
Yeah.
So on that particular scenario, 3 years in, it's awesome to cash flow. You got a great business coming along, but then to borrow $2.5 million, no.
Okay. So then maybe I need to go rent some additional space to fulfill that client instead of getting ahead of myself and purchasing a building, because that client may come and go. If I don't have a locked in agreement.
You're putting yourself way out there. You're putting at risk, because at this level, your business doesn't do it. You've got $200,000 including your salary. You're going to have personal guarantees. Mm-hmm. If you go SBA, you could be looking at a second on your primary residence. So you've got a good business to go from $500,000 debt to add another 2.5. Well, really more than that. 50,000 square foot building, you're not going to buy for $2.5 million. You only have $250,000 in cash on hand. So
so
that one's a no probe.
No loan. All right. Maybe we'll get them next time.
Yep. Have to give me a better scenario. Sometimes it stinks telling somebody no in that short a conversation, but what's the alternative? You're going to lead them along.
Yeah.
To me, I think that's completely, listen, it doesn't look like it here. For us to give you a formal decision, go ahead and apply. Mm-hmm. But, delusions of grandeur. You've got 250,000. You want 5,000 location. The only other way you either get from inventory or you're taking on an investor that is going to own a percentage of it. Because for that risk to make, in this climate, 8%, 9% loan, it's not worth it.
Right. I think it'd be also valuable to maybe talk about what a typical bank is going to do with that scenario. As you mentioned before we were getting on here, if that's presented to another bank, like a big bank, how's that going to be handled?
Oh, well, typically even regional, super regional, that typically the salesman, the lender, he or she is going to be excited about taking your intake, have all positive. You get the application. They're going to have you do all your tax returns, file everything, and then they're just going to send it to a young underwriter. Right. And that underwriter is going to be another location, look at it, come back week 2 later, and then they're going to, can't do it because of this. It's going to take a couple of weeks of your time, and they just want to come out looking rosy instead of telling you up front.
Yeah. That's unfortunate. So you don't have that personalized conversation that's more.
No, and I get it, because they're getting that large. When you're that large and you have so many layers, you can't have the lender given the approval authority, but they should have a really good idea of what, cash flows and what doesn't.
Right.
And so that's the thing too. Lenders need to understand cash flow, because lenders I've had over the years, I hate it when they're just giving me idea and throwing stuff against the wall.
Yeah.
See if it sticks. And it's like, why did you just spend 45 minutes talking to me about this one to prove you're out there talking to someone when it's a complete no? There's nothing good about this loan.
Yeah.
You absolutely, that can turn into a good loan later. That, keep good contact, give them good information, what they can do to, be a viable loan in the future, steps to do that, go through all of that. But then to go to a committee to spend everybody else's time on a loan that's a complete no, you just wasted 5 people's time, 45 minutes, you wasted 5 hours. So as a lender, you keep doing that.
Yeah. So if it, to make it super succinct for that lender, and using that term lender, meaning one of the bankers, right?
Yeah, it's doing the face-to-face.
Right. The employee banker. What are the top 1 to 3, facts, like numbers or financials that you think that they could set a standard by to say, if I get these answers, then we can move forward.
First is to get into, exact cash flow and does that service the debt.
Okay.
So that's needs
really
to be
the highest,
a minimum of 1.25. So if the debt's 100,000, you need a minimum of cash flow of 125,000.
Yeah. Okay.
Annualized.
Sure.
Everything. That, collateral, being a base, commercial, typical, You want to be under 70% as a lender. Now, owner occupied up to 85% within, this thresholds. But if, outside of that, then you need to look at SBA. You need to look at other alternative finances, bringing in that. But, somebody come in and they want $1 million piece of property and put down $50,000.
It's not going to work.
No.
Yeah.
They're putting themselves at risk. I mean, if anything does happen, they have no skin in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, that $1 million loan is going to cost $50,000 in closing costs.
Sure. So cash flow is number one. What will be the next, as a standard to say, if if these numbers aren't in place, we probably shouldn't keep
cash
talking.
flow, collateral,
okay.
Years in history, character.
Yeah.
You got the 5 C's of credits.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Okay.